Gyokuro, my old friend, it's time to brew you up again. I'm Alan. Hello. So feels like forever since I've done a Gyokuro. I still have so many of them to drink. But I kind of went through a little oolong phase for a bit. But we're back. So today we are drinking Hibiki-An's Gyokuro Super Premium. The leaf color, I'll show a picture here, is a little, I'm intrigued. There's a lot more lighter green than I would have expected. So that goes to show, of course, also kind of referencing back to a previous video where sometimes the look isn't always the most important part as the taste is. So this is their super premium, which is, they've got one more higher than this, the pinnacle. But it's got kind of a combination of I can't say full leaves. I'm learning that they devein it and they take the veins and the stems out. And so it's not that it's full leaf, it's just larger chunks of leaf. But it's got a combination of the large leaf parts and the crumbled leaf parts. So I'm curious how this will taste. Let's get this here. It's 200 ml pot. So I've got 12 grams of leaf, so 6 grams per 100 ml. So let's see if I can get this all in here. Now, note, this is just my crazy way and preferred way of drinking it as I've experimented. And you don't have to wait 14 minutes if you don't have the time. You can do just 60 degrees for a minute and a half for the first steep. But I like just trying to milk this for all it's worth. So I've got 12 grams in here, room temperature water. I'm gonna get that filled up here. And get the timer going. Okay. All right. And I'll be back in about 13 minutes or so. See you in a bit. Welcome back. We are passing 13 and a half minutes right now. So let's get everything ready. Okay, I'm hoping that my excitement to have Gyokuro doesn't make it better than it is. We'll find out though. There we go. Ooh, it is thick. That is a very brothy liquor. Yes. All right, let's get this warming up. Okay. The leaf. Steamed spinach. A sweetness. So it's almost on the border of being fresh steamed and defrosted steamed spinach, like what you get in the freezer section. All right. It's a very mild aroma. Very cloudy, thick broth. Ooh. All right. Cheers. Ooh, gives me chills. I've missed this. I love Gyokuro. I'd say it's more on the brighter end than as I'm trying to remember the May leaf. It's been a while since I've had theirs. but it's more on the brighter end than the... While there's savoriness, there's... Maybe it's sweeter. So there is some umami. But it's a sweet. Very thick. I'm trying to think, the astringency, it's kind of light and dancing around my tongue playfully. So it's there. Broccoli stems is very close to what I'm tasting here. More broccoli stem than... so more broccoli stem bitterness than steamed spinach astringency is where I would put this. Very nice. All right, so let's add a little bit of heat. So I've got it at 60 degrees Celsius, and we'll do it for 1.5 minutes. Progress the T20 to steep 2. Okay. All right, and while that's going, talk about some stats. So this is Hibiki-An's super premium Gyokuro. The season, they don't tell on their website the year that you're receiving. So I like to assume that it's at least within the last year or two, so 2018 or 2019, but they don't disclose that. They do disclose that it's handpicked, that it's Gokou is the cultivar, and similar to their other one, I forget which level it was. So they had like superior, I guess premium was the one right before this. It was shaded by way of Tana, T-A-N-A. So I haven't researched the different shading techniques yet to be able to expound on what that is, but it's shaded by way of Tana. And this is grown in Uji. So very classic, famous growing location for Gyokuros. So Uji, Kyoto, Japan. And we're at minute 20. So get ready. And there we go. Noticeably thinner as I pour it from the first one. While there's still syrupiness, like you can see how like the water molecules still cling to each other. It's still thick. While being thinner than that one, it's still thick. There's still good thickness. Okay. There we go. Okay, now with a little heat, it smells a lot more like defrosting frozen steamed spinach. It's very subtle but distinct difference between freshly steamed, like you just steamed it in, or even blanched it yourself fresh, versus defrosting it. So with a little heat, I'm getting the defrosted steamed spinach. I'm not getting any seaweed though. No algae notes on the aroma, at least. Still very cloudy. I like that in a Gyokuro. It helps with just that luscious, thick, brothy. It's a little greener as more of the chlorophyll is pulled out with the heat. Beautiful. Oh, let's get this heating to 65 while I drink this. All right, steep 2. Cheers. It's very mild, so that I would say this is approachable. There's nothing that's like punching you in the face as far as no umami in the face, no astringency that's just screaming at you. It's a very mild bitterness, like broccoli stems sort of bitterness. So it's a very balanced, very approachable. There's sweetness. Very thick mouthfeel. I'd say it's very nice. I'm looking for something that is almost in your face a bit with the umami, something that as I drink it just makes me want to melt into the umami. So while this is delicious, it's not giving me that melting in your face umami weighted blanket sort of a thing. But let's see what steep 3 brings out. I guess I'm assuming it can make it 3 steeps. We'll find out. Trying to pour gently to avoid bubbles and foam, but nah, there's still foam coming in it. Steep 3. So how are you? How's your week going? It's been a week. Been a couple of weeks. Getting into our busy season at work. And it will be for the next few months till January, where it peaks. So I need as much, especially as I get like the winter blues and then just anxiety and the stress. Like I need, this is like one of my big weapons to fight, to help fight that, kind of calm me and center me. So, getting there at a minute 20. A lot more transparent, so less cloudy. Thinner. You can see how, as I hold it up, it starts to break apart, the stream, right about here, so it is definitely thinner. Okay. Let's get this heating, and then we'll talk about the aroma. It's actually kind of almost bland on this aroma on the 3rd steep. So it's starting to be used up. I guess with the last few being oolongs, I kind of forget that Gyokuro really only handles 3 or 4 steeps. So the aroma's dissipated. It's still there, and it's on the spinach notes. Still no seaweed, algae, fish aroma, marine aromas coming out. So we'll see if any of that comes out in the flavor. So while it's still cloudy, it's definitely more transparent than the previous ones. And this 3rd steep tends to be the make or break to determine if it's a good Gyokuro that can hold up. So we'll see what this brings out. Cheers. It still feels pretty thick on the mouth. I'm trying to fish for the fishiness. I'm not getting any, so that's a good sign. The bitterness this time is on the underside of my tongue, which is interesting. I'm trying to move it around without, like, swishing, without aerating it too much. Trying to think, sticky mouthfeel is there, but not too much. All right, it is a lot milder, but I think I can get one more steep. So we're gonna go for 4. I've got it at 70 degrees, so I've increased it another 5. We're gonna go another minute and a half. and just filling it up to the neck here for this particular pot. So this is the third Gyokuro from Hibiki-An, but overall it's the 10th Gyokuro. So now that I've had 10, I almost want to say that I've graduated from being a little freshman, to kind of getting up, progressing through kind of more sophomore experience, where now I've had, this is my 10th, so I'm no longer as much of a noob. I'm starting to kind of understand what I like and what I don't like, but I definitely have a lot more to learn as I'm finding the different shading techniques. So this one's shaded by Tana. I forget what the other one is, but there's at least 2 different shading techniques. Lots of different cultivars, so I could do some research on the cultivars, the different locations as I'm finding the terroir of Sugimoto tea and Path of Cha. Both of theirs come from that location. I'm forgetting the name at the moment. So that part of Japan versus Uji, this part, there is distinct flavor differences between those. So I can research that. So definitely more than a noob, but no expert still. Now the water droplets are about half an inch below the, well, yeah, about half an inch below the spout. So definitely thinner. You can tell the thickness if you can hold it up this high and it maintains the solid stream all the way down. That's when you know it's still thick, but anyway. All right, now what aroma is present is kind of a oversteeped, overcooked, overboiled vegetables. So it's probably the last steep, so 4, which is good. For a Gyokuro, 4 steeps is a high quality, on point Gyokuro. More transparent, I can see through it, but there's still a lot of green in that color. A lot of particles floating around in there. Cheers. Yep, a lot more watery, a lot more thin. Still a hint of flavor. I wouldn't say it's as delicate a flavor as like a yellow tea. So it's maybe what it is that the astringency's there. So there's a lot of mouthfeel. More of the drying. Not quite gritty, but cotton-mouthy a little bit. And broccoli stems is kind of what I'm picking up. All right, well, let's let this sing one more time and let it perform its encore. So we'll try that. All 4 steeps blended together. There we go. Cheers. All right, the umami level's back. Definite sweetness. So from that 4 steep where it was more astringent, this is more sweet and mellow, coating. It's kind of coating it instead of drying it. I love Gyokuro. So very good. Value-wise, this was, I don't think I've talked about that yet. So it was 58 cents a gram, $16.44 an ounce. So that puts it right in between Path of Cha, who was 41 cents a gram, and May Leafs, who was 64 cents a gram. So kind of right in the middle there as far as physical price. It's been too long for me to like tell like quality wise as far as where it fits in between them. So that is going to be later when I do side by sides, as I kind of isolate the kind of pinnacle best ones from the good ones. But this is a very nice, approachable, balanced Gyokuro. Nothing in your face, nothing offensive, no fishiness. The bitterness and astringency that's present is expected and pleasant and very nice. So anyway, thank you for joining me on this one. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.